Órale, los tres chingones boxing, Cholo Trucker here. Shouts to all the chingones and chingonas. My brothers in crime, Mike Zavala and David Contreras, man. Which, by the way, um, this week we'll be doing the Spanish show on Thursday. If everything goes right, that's if everything goes right. You know, life can't get in the way. So, yeah, but we're here right now, home. So let's get into it. I mean, I got a few minutes. Um, went ahead and watched the fight with Johnny Depp. Friday, Um, I saw August the film. Man, this is Italiano. It was the first part of the August. That was really good. Just the way he was punching, man. One second. All right. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw that fight. Fernando Vargas. Um, he is a very well-known fighter. However, I don't know how great he really was, man. Your sound is distorted. Hey, is it still Joaquin, or does it sound a little better now? Okay, yeah, I think my sound was a little jacked up. But anyway, um, man, homie, I had never seen his son fight before. This was the first time I watched Fernando Vargas' son fight. Imaliano, I think his name is. Young kid, 18 years old. He looked good. He looked good. He was impressive. But to me, that wasn't the highlight, man. I mean, look, he was impressive. I like the way I saw him move. I like the way, I saw good things of the kid, man. So, so I do. It shouldn't go unnoticed what the kid did in there. Okay, but what's up, G Funky, Joaquin, Andres? Gracias, Andres. Um, the post-fight interview in the ring when Fernando Vargas gets in there. You got Mark Kriegel in there asking questions, and he's basically, I don't remember it word for word, man, what Mark Kriegel was asking, but he was asking Fernando something, right? And he was just like, hey, man, how is it? Basically for your son to box or whatever. Fernando Vargas, who we all know, if everybody remembers Fernando Vargas, he was quite the character in the ring. He was, man. Was he really that good of a fighter? I think he was good. I don't ever think he was great. Um, I think his personality really uplifted his career and made him memorable. But if I'm gonna be honest, I don't think he was really all that, man. I think he was a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the guy was trash because he wasn't. He was a good fighter. Great? No. Elite? Heck no. I think it was more of his attitude that really kept him relevant, and a lot of people got behind him because they liked his attitude. And look, he got into some pretty big fights, man. He got in there with De La Hoya. He got in there with Mosley. Come to find out that he tested positive after the De La Hoya fight and all. But uh, as far as Fernando Vargas, I just think he was good. I just think it was his personality that makes him memorable, and that's how everybody remembers the name Fernando Vargas. Um, and he did a great job in marketing himself because till this day, everybody still remembers him. What great things did he do in the sport? I don't really remember, but I do remember him. What's up, Hectic? All right, so anyway, man, he gets in the ring, right? And Mark Kriegel is talking to him, to Fernando Vargas, about his son. Hey, man, what do you think about your son fighting, and how did this all come to be? And Fernando Vargas is he's telling the story. He's all like, yeah, he came up to me saying they want to fight, and I'm like, Vato, you don't want to fight. Come on, Vato. You don't want to fight, man. You don't want to fight, Vato. You know, just the look on Mark Kriegel's face was pretty funny, man. But that was definitely memorable, man. Fernando Vargas continues to make memorable moments just like that. But getting to Emiliano Vargas, what a great fight or good performance on him. Way to go in there and handle his business. And just the way, again, I want to make it clear, this is the first time I've ever seen this kid fight. I've heard of him, but I've never watched him fight till this past weekend, man. I like the way he presented himself after the fight. You know, pretty humble. Dedicated the fight to all the veterans. Obviously, we're coming off of, it was the day after Veterans Day. He does not strike me, at least not yet, as somebody who's going to put himself out there and flamboyant and all flashy the way his dad was. He strikes me as a little bit more respectable, feet on the ground kind of kid. I could be wrong. Remember, this guy's only 18 years old, so I definitely could be wrong. But yeah, man, he made a fan out of me. I don't know if you guys have seen him fight before. This is the first time I checked him out, and I like what I saw, man. And I like what he said. You know, he said, "I'll see you in a few years," right? He said, 135, 140, I'm coming. So I'm hoping they keep the kid busy. That's the only way he's going to keep on getting better and keep on growing, just like anybody else. So keep him in the ring. And look, I hope he does have the heart and passion for it, man. I really do. There are young fighters that do get a little bit in the spotlight. I'm not saying they make money, but as the spotlight starts growing, or I should say narrowing in on them, then it gets a little bit too heavy for them. You know, I had a good homeboy. He was in the 2008 Olympics. He was in there with Demetrius Bubu Andre, as a matter of fact. His name is Sean Estrada. He had two nicknames, Chamuco, and then later on he went by Manos de Oro. Undefeated, right? He was actually starting to get some TV time, my boy Sean. And at some point, you know, he just kind of let it go, man. He didn't make a lot of money where it's like he got one big paycheck and then he decided to take off. No, man. But later on, just kind of found out like he didn't really want that big old spotlight, man. He was starting to get more noticed. And the spotlight, you know, the light started narrowing in on him. And he said it wasn't a comfortable feeling, man. And he just moved on and started doing other things. I know he ran for city council in East LA, and you know, that didn't happen. But yeah, hopefully this kid really does have the heart and the dedication for it. A lot of times we see the kids wanting to follow in daddy's footsteps, and it doesn't work out. Either people want to compare them to their dad, and I'm not going to say that's not fair, but I think it it's just bound to happen. It's just bound to happen. There's really no way around it. But in this case, I don't, not to be messed up, oh man, not to be jacked up, but look, dad was not really all that great, man. Just wasn't. Good, but not great. Let me see. Emiliano has good, very marketable. Gonna have to improve the defense, but it was only a second fight on the big stage, so I think he'll continue to improve. Yeah, yeah, and you know what? That's the thing, man. Only being a second fight and being on the card like this where it's televised. I don't want to say, hey, where everybody can see it because I mean, come on, dog. This wasn't a mega fight, right? But nonetheless, he got some TV time where people could see him only in a second fight. So yeah, definitely, man. His defense needs to improve. There's a lot of improvement to do. But I really do hope the kid's dedication is there because I really do want to see this kid grow, man. Let's see. I feel like Emiliano is trying to make his own legacy and not be a continuation of his father. Could be. At the end, I think he did say like something, the Vargas legacy continues, cabrones, or something like that, man. But I get it. He's got to do, he's got to walk, along that line, at least for the time being. But look, I liked it, man. I liked them. Hopefully, like I said, keep the kid in the ring. Keep the kid busy. There's no need for this kid to be sitting on his hands. Don't sit on this kid's career. Keep him busy. Keep him active. Even if he's fighting nobodies, that's fine. Just keep him going. Keep him active. Gracias, YouTube name. I appreciate it, man. Let me see. I'm getting a text here. Hang on, guys. Okay. All right, that's Spencer. All right. Moving on to Seniesa Estrada. She has been out of the ring for heck, I don't know. It's been a long time though. She was going, through her thing with Golden Boy, and it's been a long time since she's been in the ring. So definitely want to go in there, knock the ring rust off. She looked, at least in my opinion, that she did have some ring rust to knock off. Hopefully, this knocked it off. I saw her in person a few weeks back when I went to what was it? Red Boxing Promotions here in Ontario. She was there, man. She is a small little thing, man. I'm telling you guys. But she could throw him though. She could definitely throw him. So glad to see that she's back in the ring and she's getting her career back on track. Because she was starting to blow up, especially for the ladies, right? Her name was starting to get out there. She does stand out when she was coming out with her like Superman cape and all that good stuff. And she was really starting to get recognition. And then boom, dog, her career just kind of hit a wall with this issue that she was having over there with Golden Boy. So it's good to see her back in the ring, and hopefully she can start making some more movidas, man. Hopefully we see her in the ring. I'm hoping, man, by no later than March. Really, there's no need for fighters, man, to just be sitting and just not get a fight till 9-10 months later. It's like, let's go, man. There's your career. There's your job. There's what you do. Unless you took a pretty bad beating, let's go. Which brings me to Yanni Beck, right? Okay. I don't know if you guys have been checking things out. I have. A lot of people saying that Yanni Beck was exposed, right? And that he's not that good. And, he can't compete with anybody at 160. And that this guy will mop the floor with them and that guy. And, this dude and his mom and all this kind of madness, right? All right. Um, my boy G Funky right here. You guys can go check out G Funky, man. We had him on towards the end of Los Tres Chingones boxing on Friday, right? And we're basically just saying that we don't know where Yanni Beck really is. He looks like he's the real deal somewhat, but the test has not been there though. There's really the totem pole has been pretty low for the guy. He's looked good, but there's really no way for me to say, hey man, I think he can compete with this guy or this guy, this top level fighter. I don't know, man. Maybe he can. I don't know. But there hasn't been really much out there for me to really say, okay, you know what? This is the competition that he's beating, which means to me that now I truly believe that this dude can really start getting in there with some of the top dogs. It's just not there for me. Yanni Beck is good, but definitely no boogeyman. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, man. People calling him the boogeyman. And again, he might be good. I think he is good. I will call him good. But I can't tell anybody how good. I can't rate him on how good he is because I really don't know. So I will say this. You guys already know I'm not high on Jermall Charlo, right? I like to see those two guys go at it, man, because I don't think Jermall Charlo's good. I'm not going to say at all. I think he's a decent fighter. Maybe good. I don't know, man. It's hard to rate him too. You put both of those guys in the ring, at least to me, that's probably somewhat of a 50-50 fight. Not sure. Let's see. Andres. Montana Love pulled a dirty one. He wanted out of the fight, Holmes, against Steve Sparks. Man. Oh man, oh man, oh man, dog. Yeah. Yeah, that's that's another story all within itself right there, man. Let me see. Only in boxing do people get written off after one bad performance. Yanni Beck is gonna improve, in my opinion. Bentley had everything to gain and nothing to lose. You know what, Joaquin? You make a really good point, dog. I'm not one of these guys that when somebody loses, now they're trash and I'm not interested in seeing them fight anymore. Can you have a bad night? Yeah, of course. Of course you can have a bad night. Or can you just, how about this? How about this, man? How about, can there be a certain fighter that you struggle with that nobody else does? There's a whole saying, right? Styles make fights. Well, what if there's a fighter that's not really that good, but for one reason or another, their style you struggle with and you happen to be an elite fighter? Nobody else who is quote unquote elite struggles with that fighter, but you do for whatever reason, just because they got that certain style. You're able to mop the floor with anybody else, elite fighters included. but you struggle with one. I won't even say bottom of the barrel, but I would just say one mid card kind of guy because he's just got that style that you just cannot figure out. You just struggle with it. I mean, I kind of hate to bring up a movie, right? But I mean, look, Apollo Creed was the man. He was the guy. Rocky went in there with what? Shoot, like 22 defeats? Tomato can journeyman at best. But he just had that style. But it definitely could be, man, that Yanni Beck can be that good. I'm just simply saying, Holmes, I don't really know where to rank the guy. I hope he keeps going. I do want to see him fight. Usually, I do like watching him fight. Is he the boogeyman like G Funky was saying? He's saying he's no boogeyman. I don't think he's done enough, man, to prove that he's a boogeyman. He could be. That you know what? That's my whole point about Yanni Beck. It's just me saying I simply do not know. Is he the boogeyman? I don't know. Is he good? Is he great? Is he decent? I don't know. There's not enough there. I haven't seen a performance or I haven't seen enough from him yet for me to say, like, man, you know what? Okay, I know where I'm going with this Vato right here, man. This dude is on his way to the top. Or for me to say, like, you know what? This guy's a little bit of a hype job, homie. He ain't gonna be all that great. I can't tell you what direction he's going. I really don't know with this guy. I do like watching him fight, and I am interested to see where he goes with his career. Let me see. Motivation, styles, believe what people are saying about you. All of that plays a factor. It's hard to get up for someone that everyone thinks you're going to tax. You know, Joaquin, I would like to chop it up with you about that one day, dog. For those that don't know, Joaquin Zamora, man, he actually used to get in the ring, homie, and throw them damn things, dog. So, homie, right there out of New Mexico. I've seen footage of Joaquin getting in there, dog, and letting Vatos have it, home. So, I always kind of thought about that. I always thought about that if you are the overwhelming favorite, where you're just supposed to mop the floor with the Vato, right? It's like, as a fighter, do you just start believing what everyone is saying? Do you just start believing, like, hey, who's this dude? This guy is nobody. This fight's gonna be over in 4 rounds. You know, do you really start? Does that start affecting you? I'm sure for some fighters it does. You know, it's easy for us to sit here and criticize and be like, hey, you're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to take every fight serious. You're supposed to train hard for every single fight. It's easy for us to just say that. Right? But there's a lot of things we're supposed to do and we don't do. All right. So, I mean, that is a good point, man, where it's like, well, you know, nobody was giving a Bentley a chance. And people have been hyping up Yanni Beck. And maybe I was a little bit guilty on that because I was like, I mean, I picked Yanni Beck to win, absolutely. But I just don't know how good he is. Look, another good example, right? Tank Davis. Right? Gervonta Tank Davis. That guy looks great. Knocking dudes out. putting guys to sleep. He looks great, man. He's earned a pretty good name for himself doing it. He's a household name. But who has he fought, right? He got in there with Pitbull Cruz, and some people believe that Pitbull Cruz won the fight. I, on the other hand, and I'm just being real with you guys, I had Tank winning that fight. Not by a lot, but I thought Tank did win the fight. Did he struggle? Hell yeah, he did. So it's like some of these fighters, man, and not to put too much heat on Johnny Beck, man, because I think this was only what, his 12th or 13th professional fight. But some of these guys are getting some big recognition, and they're not really fighting great competition, man. The level of competition that they're fighting is mediocre at best. At best is mediocre, man. And maybe to some fighters, it's not even their fault. Like for instance, in this case, Johnny Beck, I don't even think it's his fault, man. It's just people rally behind him and say, like, "Orale, dog, look at this. This is the next Triple G right here. He's from Kazakhstan. It's the next Triple G." But I don't really see Johnny Beck. I mean, I don't even know if he has social media or what. I don't even really follow him. So I got no idea, but maybe you guys can tell me. But I don't really see Johnny Beck, man, really putting himself out there like that, right? I see more of the fans kind of calling him the next Triple G, the next knockout artist, right? Somebody like Tank Davis, he is putting himself out there, right? Him and the money team, they are putting him out there like, yeah, I am the best. I am the greatest. I am the big thing, man. So I will throw some blame on that side. Here with Johnny Beck, I don't even think it's him hyping himself up. I think it's the fans. So when people say like, he's a hype job, I don't know if he's a hype job, man. I haven't really seen or heard him hype himself up. I've heard other people hype him up. And I'm not talking about his team. I'm just talking about the boxing world. And this guy, again, I think he's got, 12, 13 fights. Maybe the fans are expecting a little too much from the guy. Maybe the fans, we need to cool off a little bit and just be like, you know what? Just let the dude grow. He's not doing, at least from what I see, he himself is not doing anything to say, hey, look at me. I'm the best. Look at me. I have not seen that from him. You got guys like Teofimo Lopez. He does do that. Right? When he only had, 8, 9, 10 fights, he was doing that. He was hyping himself up. So in that case, if somebody wants to go and say, he's a hype job, then I'd be like, okay. But at the same time, I don't think he's a hype job. I think he is pretty damn good. But when it's guys like Johnny Beck, man, he's a hype job. What's he doing? He's not doing anything, man. He's just going in there, fighting, taking care of his business. He's not hyping himself up. Andrew Cubo, Joel Trucker. What do you think? Crawford ducking Spence and some of the top contender. I'm not even really sure where to go with that anymore, man. Crawford and Spence. I did read an article today that Terrence Crawford came out and said that the Spence fight still can happen. Obviously, it'd be after his fight with Evanesian. And should the Spence and Thurman fight take place. I was reading that article of Crawford saying that the fight still can happen. So I don't know. At this point, I just think boxing fans, we should just move on, and if it happens, it happens. But I think as boxing fans, we should start paying attention to the Virgil Ortizes, the Boots Ennis, some of those guys that are coming up, and start asking for those fights, right? Start asking for, let's see those young bucks, man, get in there with some bigger names and start pushing those guys and start weeding some of these other guys out, man, and just start like, hey, you know what? You're not fighting. Crawford didn't fight at all this year. Not even in a stay busy fight, which always kills me. It's like, oh man, now I gotta fight a tune-up fight, man, to knock the ring rust off. You shouldn't have any ring rust, man. If ain't nothing big happening, homie, get in there with a tomato can just to stay busy. Just to stay busy, just to stay sharp. But yeah, and because of that, Andrew and everybody in here, David Contreras, he's gonna squeeze off 100 push-ups. Now, according to him, because we had a bet going on that if this fight was made this year, Mike Zavala and myself would have to push off 100 push-ups. But if it was not made this year, that David Contreras would have to do 100 push-ups. Well, guess what? It's not being made this year. So Crawford fights, I believe, the 10th of December. If anybody could fact check me on that one. Does Crawford fight December 10th? I believe that's when it is, December 10th. So that Friday, David Contreras is right here live on Los Tres Chingones Boxing. He's going to hit 100 push-ups. 62-year-old David Contreras said that he would do them all without stopping. Now, I try to keep myself in some sort of shape. I'm telling you guys right now, dog, I cannot do 100 push-ups nonstop. I can get to 100 push-ups. I will get to 100 push-ups, but I can't do them nonstop. Well, 62-year-old David Contreras is saying he's going to do them live, and he'll do them without stopping, man. See, we should be anticipating the third fight between Spence Crawford by this time. Hey, Joaquin, that's right, dog. You're right. And I'm tired of some of these fighters don't want to fight each other. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think some of these younger dudes, not all the young guys, man, but I think some of these younger guys do actually want to get in there and mix it up. So I definitely want to see, let's, just start shifting our focus on just other fighters, man. And look, if that Crawford Spence fights happens, it happens. But I'm no longer really paying attention to it. I'm no longer really going to be pushing for it. I'm no longer going to be, it's just, if it's made, all right, cool. It's made. If it's not made, all right then, man. You know what? There's other great fighters out there. What's up, Vanessa? There's other great fighters. There's other great fights to be seen. So that's what I'm going to focus on, man. But with that, chingones and chingonas, I'm going to get up out of here. Saludos to everybody. What's up, Impala? But, okay, so the Spanish show this week, should everything go right, it will be on Thursday, not Wednesday, but Thursday, because David Contreras, he's actually flying back to Tampa Bay, Florida tomorrow. So they will be doing it Thursday. And then Friday, we'll be back on here for the full panel, man. Los Tres Chingones Boxing. I'll catch you guys then. You guys be good.